Hello people, welcome back to the channel. My name is Darsh Joshi and I'm a BTech Computer Science and Engineering graduate. I'm currently working as a developer in a tech company. And if this doesn't work out, I can be a rapper as well because I spoke that really fast in single breath. Anyways, today's video is about some of the topics. Before that, I need to discuss a few things with you. That around 47% of you regularly watch my videos but don't subscribe to my channel for some reason. That's not a good thing. You should subscribe to the channel if you're loving the content, and if you're watching it regularly, then subscribing is a must. Coming to the topic, in today's video we'll be covering the 4 topics, which is SQL syntax. First we'll be discussing about keywords, then we'll discuss about data types, and then we'll carry on with operators and statements. DDL is something which we'll be covering in the next video, so you will have to stay tuned for that. And for that you'll have to subscribe to the channel and turn on the notifications. Okay, let's start with the video. But before that, this is my channel. We have 44 subscribers so far in 25 videos, which is a good number, I think, because yeah, we are growing. We are getting somewhere with this. We have 2 courses out so far, which is Python for Absolute Beginners. If you don't know anything about Python, you should go through this playlist. It's only 11 videos and like it would take a few hours of your time. The second course which we have is Oops in Python, Object-Oriented Programming, which is a core concept of any programming language. This one is specifically curated for Python, so if you want to go through that, please do. It's 13 videos with like an average time span of 15 minutes, I would say 10 to 15 minutes. That won't take much of your time and it's super easy to understand because I know I've made it. Yeah, let's get started with today's video. I'll be opening whiteboard real quick and I'm pausing the recording for the meanwhile. Here we go, the whiteboard is open, the SQL terminal is also open. I think it should be here. Yeah, so I'll just minimize this. Yeah, we go with Bruce Lee, why not? Yeah, in previous video we installed MySQL. We set up MySQL Workbench as well, but in this video we'll be using the terminal because why not? Terminal is something which all programmers should know how to use, so we'll be going with that. But now it's finally time to understand the actual language of SQL. So before we write advanced queries, we need to understand the building blocks first. So what is SQL syntax? You would say syntax is just like grammar. Any language has grammar. It has some rules of how words should be placed and how they should be spoken. Similarly, it's syntax for any of the programming language. While SQL is not a programming language, it is a structured query language. So we work with queries, and queries is basically how we interact with a database. Query can be understood well as a question to the database, a question with the database answers with the appropriate data. With a very basic definition with the elephant out of the room, let's start with the actual things which we have. So SQL has some keywords. I'll just note down some very common keywords which we'll be testing out in the command line as well. So the first one is select, next one is create, next one, can you guess what it is? It's insert, it's update, and it's delete. It covers all the CRUD operations. And on an important note, these keywords are not case sensitive. means insert written this way and create written this way would work as they should, without, you get the point of being case insensitive. So yeah, let's move on with the data types. We'll be exploring them eventually when we work with SQL later in this video. Let's get with the data types. Data types can be understood as it's an important concept. The database basically needs to know what kind of data you're storing. For example, let's say you're storing a name of a person. The name would be obviously contained in a text format. Say I'm storing the age of the same person, then the age would be stored in numbers. Similarly, if I'm storing a date of birth, then it would be a date. If I'm storing some sort of enter time, then it can be a date time data type. Yeah, these are some types of data types which we have in SQL. Some of the common data types are integer, right out on here. The first one is integer, second one is varchar, next one should be, can you guess? I'll give you a few seconds to guess. Floating integer, which can also be called as decimal. Then we have date, and we have boolean as well. Yeah, these are some data types. Integer obviously means integer values. Call this numbers as a whole. Varchar means text but with variable size. Decimal, well, it's something between 0 and a 1. Decimal values, or we can say decimal numbers. Dates, obviously dates. Boolean is either 0 or 1. Yeah, these are the data types explained in a concise manner. And let's see what we have left. Where is my Notion? Here we have covered keywords, data types. Next is operators. Let's go with operators next. Operators are basically of types here in SQL. Up, call them out. The first type is comparison operators. Just write it as op. Next one we have is arithmetic operation. I spelled this wrong, but arithmetic operations. So comparison operators has like types. I haven't really considered counting them till this moment, so let's count it together. It is equal to, not equal to, greater than, less than, greater than equal to, less than equal to. These are the types. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 types of the comparison operators. Arithmetic operation, I don't think it would be called arithmetic operation. I think a better word for logical operators. Remove this. Just put logical here because arithmetics is not something we do. Logical operators are and, or, not would be one. Not as. Yeah, these are all the types of operators which we have. They are self-explanatory. I don't need to explain them to you. You are smart enough. If you're not, I'll explain it anyways. Equal to is basically to check if LHS equal to RHS. Not equal to would signify LHS not equal to RHS. Greater than means if LHS is greater than the RHS. Less than LHS lesser than the RHS. Greater than equal to if LHS is greater than or equal to the RHS, and less than equal to is lesser than or equal to RHS, and which means LHS and RHS both conditions should be satisfied in order to carry on the operation. Or means any of the two operations should be like satisfied, conditions should be satisfied. Not means if let's say if X triggers a specific Y function, then not X would not go with the Y operation. But if not X goes to some Z operation, then in that scenario we use not operator. Next thing which we'll be looking at is notion operators are done. Next thing is statements. So first rule of SQL in any format is that we use semicolons to end an statement. Where is my whiteboard? Okay, roll it off a little bit. Got it, bro. So SQL statements it's a complete instruction basically given to the database. I'll type out a little statement here. Say select all from a table called student. This is an example of a statement. In this, we are running the select query. Select, what do we call this? I think I just thought it. How can I forget it? Really? Keyword. Yeah, you're using the select keyword. You're using the from keyword. Asterisk here marks as all, and student here is the table name. So select all from student would give out all the data which we have inside the table, which is named students. Yeah, this is how a query looks like. This can also be called a query. It can also be called a statement. Whatever you like to call it, both are correct in their own ways. So there are two types of statements which we can make. I'll just paste this for the meanwhile. Yeah. So there are three types of SQL statements, which is DDL, DML, DQL. DDL is data definition language. Data definition language. DML is data manipulation language. I'm a slow writer, so forgive me for that. This is data query language. That just write lang for now. So DDL is basically how we define the database structure. It has three basic phrases we can call them, or keywords we can call them, is create and alter, and one more is drop. Create is used to create the table, alter is used to alter the structure of the table without actually altering with the data. Drop is used when we want to delete the table from existence. Data manipulation language is how we work with the actual data. There are a few keywords here as well, which is insert, update and delete. Insert is used for inserting data into the table. Update is used to update the inserted data inside the table. And delete is used to delete specific data from the table. Data query is data query language is something which we use to retrieve the data from the table. A common thing which we use here is select keyword. And there's another thing I forgot to mention that earlier. It's called DCL, and it's data control language. Data control language basically handles permissions and security for the data. It is grant and revoke. Yeah, that's all the topic I had to cover for today. I'll just mark it here as well. So yeah, now let's put everything together and perform the practicals. I'll just put this aside and put this up. Let's first do some stuff in here. We'll create the table. First thing we'll have to do is creating the database. So let's get started with that. So the first thing which we need to do is create a database. I'm turning on my caps. Why not? So we'll use create keyword and database to help us create the database, and let's call this school. Let's call DB for now, and we'll use a semicolon to end our statement. And the database is created. 10.021 seconds. Step 2 is using the database. So what I'll do, I'll use, and now we are actively using the database which we just created. Now let's create a table inside this. Create the table called students, and in this we'll have to define our columns and our rows like we want them to be inside the database or in the table. So the first thing, let's take student underscore ID, and it would be an integer. Next, let's take name. It would be a var char, because names can have many characters. Let's put it as 50. It can go to a max limit of 50 characters. And let's store age as well, which should be an integer. We'll close the parentheses, put the semicolon, and good to go. Now we have the table created. Now let's insert some data into it. So what we do here is insert into student and press enter without the semicolon this time, and we use values, and inside this we put whatever values we have. Let's store my name as the first of this academy, and let's put my age as 22 because I am 22. And now we put semicolon here, and now the data is stored inside the table. Pretty easy. Yeah, if you agree, please like the video, subscribe to the channel. I'll also put one more data into this. Go with Aryan and Aryan 18. Do so. More data which we have. Now let's see what data do we have inside the table. We'll use the select again. Select star from students. Here we go. We can see the table. I hope I'm really clear with what I'm doing, what you want to see. Now let's try a bit complex things. Let's try filtering the data. So for that, select star from and students. Now we'll use the where clause. Where is basically used to define condition afterwards. Where age is, let's say, greater than 20. Now we should see only one data there, and we see just one data, which is me. Now let's try updating the data, because here the student ID, I put 1 here as well. It should not be the case. No students have similar or exact same student IDs. Try updating some data there. Syntax for that would be update students. Set student ID equals to where name Aryan. My bad. And to go. Now let's see the data which we have. My bad. Now it's updated. Now let's delete some data from here. How do we delete it? Let's delete Aryan for now, because I don't think I know someone called Aryan. We'll delete from student where student ID equal to, and one row affected. Let's see the data which we have. It's only one row left. Yeah, the student is gone. So yeah, and just like that, we have already used the keywords, data types, operators and statements inside a real working database. And with that, I think it's good time to wind up the video. I hope you like the video. I hope you appreciate the channel, you appreciate the efforts. Please subscribe to the channel if you do like my content, and I'll see you in the next one. Till then, keep learning, keep having fun. And I'm making notes, by the way, of this exact course. I'll make them in Notion, as you've seen. No, they are not sponsoring me. Notion, if you're watching, please. I don't think they would sponsor someone with 44 subscribers. And that's exactly why you need to subscribe to the channel. See you in the next one.